a moment.
Yeah. And I know I shared it a bit. But this will be recorded too, so
It'll
it's
be,
gonna be out there.
yeah,
In
in
anything
one
that's
way or another,
recorded.
it'll be
Look
out
at
there.
us. Did you notice that? How we both went like this at the same time?
Hi, Fresh Talks Global Vision. I'm so happy to be here. We are having so much fun with this Mindset Matters to Heart. I really believe that when our heart becomes very cohesive, that our with our brain, there's something special that happens. We're known to do 60, 70,000 words a day. And that's overwhelming, but there's so much going on with our subconscious. And if we don't update this, this negativity, we're known to do 80% negative
Mhm.
phrases and framings in our world because it's about a fight or flight. So my main purpose to like doing all this fun stuff is bringing people in so we can just feel that we're this like a mastermind. We feel like we're really growing. And I trademarked mindset transformation entertainment. I feel like if our brain gets entertained, well, heck, we'll let the heart lead and flow and be there for us, because I believe that's one of the hardest things is to keep that heart open. But when you do it, and as I'm growing and learning about this too, you cry and you giggle and you are just elated within the experience of being present.
Mhm.
And I used to be afraid to open my heart, and it's about one of the most beautiful things because I know now it's the one of the most safest places to be, because it brings up that frequency and it helps you hear something special, something new, and you're going to remind yourself when you were a little kid. Because I'm telling you, I'm like, oh, I'm seriously my little kid, and I'll just be bouncing around. That's when I know I'm at my highest frequency. So
Yeah.
that's why we have Rebecca Randolph here. Let me tell you, I really appreciate this woman. I was looking around, and if you
Mhm.
saw any of the marketing, she had this really cool hat, and I'm thinking like she's this cool, awesome woman talking about spirituality, healing, being like being awaken. So welcome in, Rebecca. I appreciate you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, as you were sharing that, it just reminded me of our minds are designed as human beings, our little reptilian part, to find this negativity bias, you know. And so it's such a good reminder just to come in and know that we can shift that we have conversations, we're shifting the resonance. I mean, anybody coming in here cannot help but just kind of feel the sweetness and the compassion and the love and the generosity that we have, that we really want to open our hearts. We don't sit here just to look at ourselves. We can't even look at ourselves also. We have to look at the camera. Uh,
I know I could look at myself, but it just throw everything off. Yeah,
yeah, but
it's like getting out of your way, because I know
yeah,
when we first do these interviews, or people are asking us to do a talk or just being in front of people, I used to only want to be around one person. If I had more than one person around me, I would just be so out of my mind. I would turn red, and I didn't know even how to even
yeah,
be, because I knew everybody was judging me. That's what I knew. I mean,
we all,
there was
yeah,
like nobody could talk me out of that. But I
yeah.
noticed that as we go along, that when we start healing and recognizing these things, like my brain, I remember the first time I could hear my brain saying, "You're not that loving. You're trying to fool everybody." And I could hear an adult saying it to me,
Mhm.
which maybe some things I heard when I was younger, I'm not sure, but I definitely knew I was like this to myself. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. Like I was talking to
Yeah,
myself, no,
yeah,
no, no. I'm more loved than what. And it made me laugh, because I was like, that's what stopped me from opening it up, because
yeah.
I knew that I was told certain things when I was younger, which I don't blame that at all. I'm like, I love learning more about what happened in my childhood, because that's my strength, and I don't want to get red anymore in my face. I want to be able to enjoy and create. So,
Yeah.
Rebecca, how'd you make it here? Tell
And
me some stories about you. This is fun.
gosh, even when we do, that's okay. It's this imposter syndrome that so many of us have, so many of us empaths and people that really want to make a difference and did grow up with, mindsets and things that impacted us maybe even more deeply because we were so sensitive.
Yeah.
Um, and to get over that imposter syndrome, everybody's got it, the best of the best, and to just come together and share and realize we all we all are connected. We have so many more things in common than we do, that are differences. And when we can communicate like that, we can be authentic, and there's one of my teachers, Thomas Hubel, amazing guy. And he has a statement that he says, when you're connecting with another person, he says, I feel you feeling me. I feel you feeling me. And it kind of brings us out of our heads, because we're dancing in another energy field. We're dancing with everything else. And seeing you, like looking at your sweet smile and your red lips, I'm going, oh my gosh, this is so great, because I feel you. You're smiling like I feel you feeling me, and how that, just connects us all.
That's how I feel when I'm at the grocery store or just meeting somebody, is when those eyes connect. It's like I'm such a eyes person, because it's like it's to the soul. But what you said, that reflection, I can understand that, because when you get connected, then you feel even more relaxed, even more in love with the conversation, with what's going on. That's pretty damn incredible.
Yeah.
When did you start feeling these things? Were you younger? Were you raised around this stuff? Share with me about your spirit. And you're definitely extremely lovely. It just feels like this is something that you've been connected with for a while.
Yeah, well, I grew up really shy and really just fearful, and sensitive, very sensitive, cry at the drop of a hat, and always feeling other people's energies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of assuming it was me, like if I was in a space and somebody was upset, and I'm going, oh, well, there must be something wrong with me. And it took a long time. It takes skill and practice and a lot of desire, in a way, to want to get to the other side. And I think, for me, I had, my trauma, most of them was like abandonment issues, and being left as a young girl, and kind of not understanding all of that until later in life, but then really feeling this impetus to share that with other people. And I wrote a book called Smart Medicine. That one, it's on Amazon, and it's about my story of really another trauma I went through, with a really painful divorce and a custody battle. And part of my journey of how I shifted my mindset, how I dug deep, and I discovered these tools to heal and to really become whole, and to know, even within the midst of whatever it is we're going through, whatever moods, whatever pains or infractions, that we are innately just whole. And that all the other distortions, it's not really us, it's just the conditioning that we've had. And there is a way to get out of it, the awakening. We're on this path, and we're able to have these meetings, like this, in different places on the planet, and connect to others, and the others can be here and share that space, and know that they're not alone. It's to know that we're really, really never alone, and that louder voice, or the authentic part of us that tunes in, that feels good, because we can feel that sensation. We know when we're feeling that openness, okay, we're tuned in. That's the truth. All the other stuff is just little distorted, just distorted things, little cracks. And it's beautiful too, speaking of cracks. And a lot of us can feel broken. The parts of us, or our soul, feel broken. And within the word broken is okay. Interesting. Mm-hmm. And there's a Japanese pottery called kintsugi, which is basically cracked pots that crack and move it, but they fill them with gold. So they fill all these missing pieces with gold, and it becomes more valuable than the piece that was as it was whole.
Wow.
So it's and I'm looking at your background too, with these gold, the paint, the gold there, that within those cracks, we wouldn't be the people we are today. We wouldn't have the strength and the courage to step up if we did not have these infractions or traumas, whatever we want to label it. It's a gift.
Yeah.
It really is a gift. In
You
all.
know, I want to add more into that because I come from a family that when you're exposing those things, that those are weak, pull yourself up with your bootstraps. Um, if you're feeling sad for the day, that means there's something wrong, things like that.
Right.
And it's wonderful to when you start really feeling the atmosphere of this, that it's one of the strongest times you can really step into. And I like what you were saying about you recognize that those are those moments where you can breathe in and realize that this is not all real. Like that's just the condition of being here,
Yeah.
and that is when we get to do our biggest learnings. That's where I find my highest creativity.
Yeah.
It is that when I feel that pain, it's usually in the morning. So I'm just kind of just getting
Uh-huh.
going, and sometimes I feel extremely good, so I can't tap into. But that hint of like, "Woe is me," I'm like, I have to
Uh-huh.
get writing here. I have to, because I know something's going to be percolating, or I
Ex-
know I'm gonna have an incredible day instead of a cloud over my whole day.
right. And again, too, I'm studying right now. I'm getting really deep into the gene keys. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's
Yeah,
amazing. And learning just how fear or anxiety is a frequency and it's collective. We're in this fishbowl of fear, anxiety, collective. So even then, feeling okay, I'm anxious this morning, going, okay, I'm feeling that. It's just like a frequency, like a Wi-Fi signal. And because we
mhm,
as human beings have our hearts, which is our superpower, we can go, okay, that's the fear frequency. Now I know I can tune in. I can shift as myself, my heart, and raise that frequency to something different that will flow through us. And that can actually dismantle some of that fear and dismantle. But it's that awareness in that process that activates it. So it's a good reminder.
Rebecca, you're bringing up something very interesting that I never got to.
Yeah.
And no, I never got to that moment. Okay, so when you are tapped in, which is most of us, we just don't know it all the time.
Ups and downs. We can't be all the time, but when we
And
tap in,
yeah,
yeah,
and
feel it.
then but the frequency. So I'm thinking of like a radio and being tuned in.
Mhm.
And that again, we're talking about not being alone. We're talking about we're just in a collective of whatever that frequency is, and you can decide, am I going to tune that up, or am I,
Yes.
because then the brain will go into the stories of like what you recognize as like your life. But in truth, those are just the patterns. We're talking about how can we open ourselves up when we start realizing that we're in this frequency. So if we're looking at this, like I want to go to 96.9 or something,
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, well, do I really want like, the 80s? Because the 80s were this. What about if I tune into the 2000s? Like, I mean, it's something as simple as that, just to kind of play with your brain and
Yeah.
let's shift it up a notch. Because I think the more fun we have, the more that we get out of the woes me and the
Yeah.
lower frequency, even the higher frequency. Sometimes we get into this space of like everything is beautiful. But if I want to talk about community, because we're talking about, kind of like this group thought, this group vibe, is
Yeah.
that I think that's the best time to go out and just be calling so many people and telling them how much you love them. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, hello, I'm at my highest frequency, and I know in an hour I may be down, but I gotta tell you right now,
It's
tune up to my frequency because I'm really feeling a lot of love right now. You get okay, call your next person. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, like I'm in business. I'm always thinking, how can we play with people? And I think of this as like I call it hashtag speaker locking arms. It's kind of our
like that.
global vision of what we're doing. We have
Yeah.
around 62,000 views on it right now, and I'm
Yeah.
growing this into like a humanity project. I see this in 5 years and so on where this is going.
Yeah.
But how can we play with this? Tell me, Rebecca, because you're so playful. Tell me, how do you play with this energy? Because it sounds like you've been working with different people and doing muscle testing and doing all these things. So,
Right.
and you connect with people in their higher spirit and stuff. So, play with me a little bit on this, my friend.
Sure. Well, I can share a fun story with you. somebody that I worked with, and dealing with a lot of depression and a lot of negativity, and the self-talk, self-doubt.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that we do play with that, just like you were saying, is saying, okay, well, right now, let's see, what channel are we on? Are we in Tragedy Channel? Are we in Tragedy Station?
I can
All
hear a
right,
book coming out of this, Rebecca.
let's just go to Tragedy Channel, okay, and let's just like really go there. Oh my gosh, I broke a finger, whatever. But these were deeper things, and then get to the point of recognizing that there's a way to change a channel. Okay, can we go to maybe Comedy Channel and maybe see how there could be some humor in this? And that really is the highest vibration, is coming from a sense of just being down and really stuck in the head, to laughter. It's like when, sometimes the best way we can share our stories is to share it from a place that maybe it was something really traumatic or tragic. And then, it takes time to heal from that. And somatically, like you're talking about muscle testing the body, is to really tune into the body and where those things are and work with it. And then at a certain point, it's like the energy lightens and you go, oh my gosh, I can actually laugh at that situation now. I can actually see the humor in it. Yeah. And then that will really permanently just shift you. It shifts your DNA. Laughter, it reduces it, releases endorphins, all of these things that create health for us.
I think about this as health too. I've been in the health industry for a while, and it's just so lovely to think about this creative space, how it releases so much in the body, and how you can say goodbye to chronic pain. And I love how science is catching up with this too. It doesn't matter really to me, because I've thought this before, but this stuff is really important right now. We're talking about mindset matters to heart. We're talking about spiritual being, really being awake. Can you share with me more about, I don't know if it's going to be your book or what you've been doing, but somewhere in the awake space, like Awaken, where are you finding that people are starting to wake up more in this area, that so you feel like you're pretty deep into this?
Yeah, it's a popular thing right now too. And I can share from my experience, and I like to think of it, the deeper I get into awakening, it's also a collective awakening. Like there's no coincidence that you and I are sitting here sharing space right now in that, sharing that vibration.
Yeah.
Awakening, it really comes to the place of knowing that there is no separation. That there's no separation between us, between other people, and whatever that divine current is. And how I see it, it's like the frequencies I was sharing. Fear, there's a certain frequency that goes to. And I've actually been doing some channeling with a friend of mine. We've been doing some recordings, and it's very interesting. And it's not your typical, particular planetary thing. I don't really change my voice too much. It's like a higher power that comes through. And a lot of it is very impersonal. So that's coming through as kind of this universal essence that's for everybody, and that's a frequency. But it pulls me out. When I say me as my identity, it pulls me out of that identity of my life and, my stories, which are there. I'm not completely, immune. None of us are. It gives us that beauty. But that awakening of tuning into that, and that's really been helpful. It's intense, and I don't remember everything that comes up within it, but the messages keep coming in as this impersonal love and an energy that connects us all throughout, like that the time and space is just kind of this illusory concept. And to tune into that, we can go into our hearts. That's what we do. We go into our hearts.
Yeah.
And it comes into your mind. So I'm just kind of slowing down right now, and it is a frequency. And the more that comes in, the less, say, the identification of me, of my story, my conditioning. impacts need to be out there in the world. Like you're saying, going to the grocery store, calling people, that you feel something greater than yourself, this higher power, whatever it is, coming through,
Yeah.
and it makes life a lot more fun and a lot more forgiving, a lot of forgiveness with that, a lot of forgiveness and acceptance.
Yeah. I
And
love that.
yeah, if
Hmm.
that makes sense. Sometimes I just talk.
No, I like what you're
It's
saying because
all
I
sometimes it comes
look
together.
forward to I look forward to people sharing about, like the collective and what they're and what's flowing. And I feel this in coaching all the time. And
Right.
I call it coaching, but I just haven't thought of a better word for it. But it's those times when you are with somebody and you're just together and you're giving them, you know, some kind of insight on something, but it's like all of a sudden everything gets out of the way except whatever's coming to them. It's just
It,
like because
yeah,
I run a group thing I call Get Raw, Go Bold, Be You,
I
a
love it.
mini vitality retreat.
I
And
love
I
it.
do that every other week. And it's like a mini little retreat. And I feel like I'm healing from it. Like I don't always say it to everybody because like there's just so much I can say, but I'm literally like waiting for what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
And so
you're
what you're talking about, can you tell me what your next things are you going to be doing? Because what you're doing right now, I know you're creating something. Are you aware of what you're doing with this channeling, what the next thing you're going to do, or what's it opened up for you in your creativity?
yeah, it's coming together. We actually there's a triad of us. There's one is that kind of sets up the space. I'm kind of the messenger, and another person that does the editing thing. It's not all out yet, but it will be, and I can share that when we do have it.
Okay.
One of the projects I wanted to start up again is a book called The Alchemy of We, which could be more than just a book, which is
Wow.
really about how collaboration is, not, I wouldn't say the end of competition, but as an evolved way of leading, managing, and getting transmissions. Really, even with our voice is being transmitted onto something and elevating the frequencies. And for you saying you're coaching, but perhaps you're in tune with some kind of other
Mhm.
frequency that you're transmitting, and it
Yeah.
happens in just in the right time. It's not something that we can actually read or take notes necessarily, and the transmission goes through, and then it can be received in a very present, authentic way. And that's such a service to everybody and to within ourselves. Like you were mentioning, you feel like it's healing
Yeah.
yourself because all of that collective, you're raising the frequency when people get together with that intention.
Yeah.
It creates more and more ripples. And so that's where I have this idea to really extend collaboration and synergy.
Yeah, the collaboration is where it is these days. It just because when I first started this business, it's probably around 17 years now, and
Yeah,
I was so much into just like to do task lists, do them like it's like robotic, and now my whole screen is like crazy. And
yeah,
then now it's more like this is why almost every day I'm interviewing people. So I just feel like it's like
beautiful.
this harmonic flow of
Yeah,
learning about people that are bringing groups together. What are they doing? Where are they in their spiritual journey? A lot of the people coming together already work with tons of women because that's what they love is being around women. It's
yeah,
interesting. I'm starting to work, Rebecca. I'm in the stage of starting to work with men,
yeah,
and it's just opening up this whole new. I don't think I ever really called out that I'm just working with women, but you just whatever flow that happens. So since we're at
yeah,
the end of this podcast,
yeah.
share with me any of your like gems. Like, what do you with your the stuff that you do? I
Let's see.
want you to do some type of whatever feels right for you in this space that we've been building to finish this off. So
Mm.
Rebecca Randolph gets to have a
Mm.
space here to bring something in.
Yeah. I think the idea of authenticity is is pure acceptance, and it's actually accepting those parts of ourselves that are uncomfortable. And I know that's a gem, but just like the gold, that when we can be friends with all parts of ourselves, get to know all parts of ourselves, it's almost like that piece kind of explodes in a way and the gold comes out.
Yeah.
And so it's about being yourself. This is it. This is a quote. I can't take credit, I like to, but it's Dr. Seuss. So all we can do is be ourselves because everybody else is already taken.
I love that. That's a great way to end. It really is.
It's
When we
always
feel like we are on a straight and narrow path, and this is my path, I'm not going to walk out of it because this is what I know my success is. I welcome everybody in Fresh Talks Global Vision to open up and play with your path because you'll get to wherever you're supposed to go when you start playing that way, and you will start quantum leaping into where your journey is going to take you, and you can feel that flow more when you really get to be yourself. When you're hiding, the cerebral takes over and your vocals shut down, and your heart it's very difficult to find your heart when you're trying to play that game. So Rebecca and the Fresh Talks Global Vision and I, Rhonda Liebig, we are in a space right now sharing that the more that you allow yourself to be you, the more that you're going to discover that there's more here than what you ever knew about who you are. What everybody is doing, that is like there is no coincidence. We start talking about that. And the more you open up your heart, the more that you will find that it's safer. We used to say, well, I want to close my heart down because I don't trust this person, that person. It brings up the frequency. You won't be around people that you can't trust. You'll be able to feel it before anybody could ever get to you. It's one of the safest places, and I welcome you in. Rebecca, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So fun.
I feel so honored. I'd love to share more and it's like the more we are ourselves, the more we are each other, the more we can love and appreciate and connect on deeper levels.
Very much so. Rebecca, do you have a group you'd like people to go to? How do they connect with you? I know they can find you on social media because we've been putting stuff out there, but
I have a website for the healing work that I do, which I need to revamp a bit. And I'll put that in the chat. It's just heal.me/RRR. And there's they're my initials. Rebecca Renee Randolph. Yeah. And I've been also planning a course that I want to run to a program and things. So this is perfect timing. I'm really honored to be here, and hopefully we can connect again. And
I think you should start a podcast. There's something special about what you're doing. Have you put your vocals out there like that just consistently? And
I actually need to. There's my procrastination kind of got the best of me, but this has been an amazing experience. So I think that's something that will be on the periphery because I do like to share and in spaces like this.
Good. You have a great energy about you, and I launch podcasts, but just keep yourself aware of like all the stuff you're doing. I mean, it's people need this every day. That's why I say mindset transformation entertainment. I'm talking heart and spirit through, like kind of like calming the brain down. Calm it down, have some fun.
Yeah, well,
I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you too. And a little confession to make. I was feeling a little bit shy, a little bit, I don't like to have things planned, and you really inspired me. So I just want to say thank you. Gratitude, every day we got to share that gratitude.
Yeah, we do. Did you just say you don't like things planned?
No.
What did you say?
Yes, I did. I said that. I do not. I'm being authentic here. I do not like to plan too much. I can plan a little bit.
We did it though. That's how we met up.
Yeah. Well, plans, I guess, that feel fun plans. I like fun plans. you know, yeah.
Okay, so Fresh Talks Global Vision, are you learning anything about this? Like, my best friend who passed away a couple of years ago, she was
Oh,
fabulous. And she would, I would like want to make plans with her. And she's like, it's going to take up most of my day. Like, I don't want to do that because the day goes too fast. And I was like, and at that time, I didn't understand it, but I do. The more creativity I get into, the more I fully understand. I'm because then I really know where my yeses are too. So I
yeah,
really appreciate you bringing that up, Rebecca, and being so authentic.
yeah. Well, kudos for you to be doing this and sharing this. It's very inspiring.
Ooh, thank you, my friend. All right. So Fresh Talks Global Vision, I appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
Keep connected with us. We are just doing such incredible things. I get to stand here and host and play around. I do have another show which is uh it flows through Fresh Talks Global Vision. It's called the Rondaloo Moxie Show. I'm there every Monday and I use specific tools, but I like to guide and play with how
yeah,
the week is going to be. So I appreciate you so much and I will see
yeah.
you soon.